Alright. Whoa, what was that? It sounded like a shotgun.
Nah, this is a soda.
Alright, hey everybody, welcome back. This is the Natives in America podcast. This is Benjamin, and you know who's with me right now is Skyanto. So,
What's up?
So here we are. Let's, that's what I was missing. Maybe I should start that over.
What's up?
I always forget to put the mic up to my mouth here. so it wasn't all clear. Alright, so, hey everybody. Welcome back. As you know, this is the Natives in America podcast with your host, Ben Juan. And as my co-host here is Skyanto.
Take two. Take
two. We're gonna give that another shot here, so you can actually hear me here. All right. So we got to hang out the last time, right? This past weekend.
Yeah.
I think that's where we got the idea for the subject, and I don't think I'm gonna pick the same stories that I told that night.
Nah. I'm going wholesome with this list. That's the theme.
Oh,
no, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I got some tales.
You got some tales
from my hood.
Tales from the hood. Yeah, I think I got halfway decent stories here that I was thinking about telling. So the subject tonight we're doing a list again. So 5 best nights, right?
Yes.
So like, I guess nights that kind of turned out to be pretty fucking badass, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was where it got kind of challenging for me, because there are some nights that don't seem that exciting, but reflecting on them and pointing things out, so wow, that was a symbolic night. But like, when there are times when the nights might have some good moments in it, but
yeah,
they necessarily look like a good night from the audience perspective, you know. So
yeah,
that trying to wrestle with that title is like, oh man, like, that wasn't such a good night after all. But I think we should start this.
Me?
Yeah.
What, this guy? All right.
Then was.
So I got a more. I'm gonna start light, and one of the event. I'm gonna use it as like an event, not really the night, but what kicked it off. I'm pretty sure I was in. Let's see. I was on the return team. I think this was in high school. Maybe it was. I don't know. I was either in high school or I was in middle school. I think it was a lot farther away than my senior year, so maybe it was like 8th grade, middle school, and we were playing football. And I think we were up in Benson, and we were playing against them, and like it was a good fight. But at some point, like we were tied up. We do one, they do one, and like, you know, we get the ball, be on offense. And the whole night, like, we did one, they got one. You know, we got a touchdown and you know, and the field goal. They did one, got the field goal, matched us basically point for point. And partway through the night, we got a lead. I think we had stopped them or something like that. I think they had messed up, and at some point, we had started taking the lead, and it was getting close to the end of the game, so it was like, alright, we can't screw this up. Like, it came time to kick out. Like, I think it was near the end of the game, so it was like, alright, if we can just fucking hold them, maybe we can pull this shit out of our ass. Like, maybe this will be a good game. And I just happened to be on the return team. We practiced quite a bit, but it was like never really got some action. Shit was over like almost immediately. We kicked the ball off, and then the team would receive and then come back. And that night, we hadn't done so well as to stop them every time. So it was kind of like one of the last couple of plays we could do. And so we were setting up like, fuck, like we're going to have this whole little short time to stop them. And we set up for our kickoff. We kicked the ball, and I just started hauling ass. I'm running. And when I fucking got to the guy, like the ball was really bouncing, and it popped up, and he tried to dive on it, and he missed it. Or something. No, he wasn't ready for it. Like it just kept bouncing. And I just ran like a straight line, like straight to this guy, and when I see that he didn't fucking get it, like he didn't have control of the ball, I just fucking dove down on top of the ball, like just jumped on it, boom, like under him, like he was getting ready to jump on it, and I dove on it under him, and he got all pissed off, was like yanking on the ball, but I was just like, no, I got this ball, like fucking got it, and our team like erupted, like the whole team just jumped out and like rushed the field, and we're just like, yeah, like there's no way they could come back, and like it was like we had taken the lead, and it was time for them to get another chance to tie it up, and so far they had been doing it, but because I stopped them on the return, we got the ball back, and it basically eliminated any chance that they would win. And it was just like, boom, like, that was a great moment. It wasn't exactly a best night, but starting off light in my list, I brought that up. It just turned out like the rest of the ride home, we were all happy. Like, that shit didn't always happen, like sometimes our team would lose, and that'd just be a shitty ride home, the bus would be all quiet, but because we fucking won, and we won by a lot, it was like, fuck yeah, we went home. Like, I think that was another good thing about away games. Like, it was kind of like a fun road trip.
Yeah,
yeah, and like we'd just be driving all the way back home on the bus, like chatting it up. And when was Picata there? You remember the teacher who wound up being?
Yeah.
Was that middle school?
I was no, that was high school.
All right, well it was high school then. Because I think that night I was so confident, I sat down with his daughter on the bus. His daughter, she would go to the game sometimes, and she was sitting up in the front, and I had the confidence that night, and I sat down by her, and we just, like, at first I asked if I could sit by her. She's like, oh, like what the hell for? Like, what the hell? It was out of the blue. And then I sat behind her. I was like, alright, that's cool. And I sat behind her, and I started talking to her over the seat, and we just started talking. After a while, I got up there and sat next to her, and like, for me, it was like, oh shit, like, I'm bad, I'm bad, it was all because, like, I saved the game, and I fucking wound up getting up front, and, like, thinking that I made friends. Like, it never became anything beyond that, but it was a good night. It was a big confidence builder.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that was high school.
That's winning is important at that.
Yeah, being on a team too.
Yeah, and so to kind of be in all of that, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and you've been on the team, so you know those right backs. So like, it's just fun.
Yeah, for me, when I became a coach, it was kind of like, not so much I look forward to losing, but when you lose, you can reflect more and think more about maybe things you can change up. But when you win, it's just, you got the job done, and sometimes there's no time to think about what you did wrong, because you did what you needed to do. You got the win, and it's just you just feel with all kinds of that good energy.
That's like that's a coach perspective, huh?
I think it's
just a slight hope.
I don't know. Maybe.
Or maybe you like the development that comes from a loss versus just winning, right?
well, you can win and not gain nothing, but
yeah.
it's the same thing with losing, right?
Well, what about like a game where you both fight to the death, like just, and you fucking either pull it off in the end or you lose? I kind of feel like when both teams gave it their all and like really fucking fought it out, like I feel like the win or lose doesn't really matter. It was just like, hey, you know, at the end of the game where they're just like, good game, good game, good game, and you're just like slapping hands. It's just like, all right, let's get this shit over with and go home.
Yeah.
There was a few games where we really kicked some ass, and at the end it was just like, yeah, bitch, good game, like, yeah, like, oh, you did good, like, you fucked me up out there, like, good game, and like really believing it. And I don't think that happens all the time. You know, every game. Sometimes you're pissed that you lost, and it's just like, I don't even want you touching me, you piece of shit. Like, good game, good game. Like, it's all about sportsmanship. But like,
yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
But you know, you don't always feel that way when you're down that line. Like, just like, man, I fucking hate you guys. I don't want you touching me or my teammates.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I mean. Like, at a high school level, it's not to say it's better to be on the winning side, but like, you know, you're dealing with all these emotions, and
yeah,
you don't get what you want, and suddenly you might overreact and, you know, do something that you might regret, or something that's not called for. But that's I couldn't think of any of the high school stories.
Okay. As one of your best nights?
I mean, I feel like I can't go that far in my head to be like, oh, that was awesome. I don't know why. But to kind of keep the sports theme going, I'm gonna jump into mine.
Okay.
Well, this is actually kind of like, you know, a lot of these nights are like really early mornings.
Okay.
3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, even earlier than that, but it's just more about coming home, making sure everybody made it home safe. So like right away when I started coaching, going on like trips and, you know, other times when we're out late, you know, it was like getting home safe, and it was like it was a good night because you got what you needed done accomplished, regardless if it was win or loss or whatever. It was like you got home.
Yeah.
But this past December, and I think I might have mentioned it on a previous episode. I'm not too sure. I talk about this a lot because it's a really proud moment. But we went to Vegas. We took a team to Vegas, and we were up there for the weekend, and we came back that Sunday night. And, you know, I had rented a van and got my brother to drive for us. And, you know, my bro, he's, you know, I kind of forget that he's got all these other skill sets. I just know him as my brother, but he drove us in Vegas and took us to our games, took us to like the mall. Everywhere we needed to go, he was just like, you know, he kept the team just unified, and that left a lot of room for like me and Jeff and everybody else to just do what we needed to do. And so it was sort of a relief, because when, you know, maybe when we go to Tucson, I'll be driving, or you know, we're doing more of the driving. So we had driven from Las Vegas all the way back to the res, and you know, we just had a lot of good discussions with the team on the way back, and I just kind of, it was that. Well, you kind of like what you're talking about, like I'm going on a game. But this was sort of like, you know, a long road trip. You know, I think it was like 6-7 hours. But coming back home with my brother, it was sort of, we had done that trip so many times with me and him going places and coming home safe, you know, like road trips with my family and then just so many times where it was just it was something we always do on a small scale, but this time it was on this huge scale where we went all the way to Las Vegas and took like 9 kids, 10 kids, I can't remember, you know, to play in this tournament, and you know, we battled it out, and you know, we represented, and you know, we got to do you know, a lot of sightseeing, and there was just a lot of good nights within that whole time, but like finally making it home and then just saying like we did it, like, you know, kind of, this was sort of like a goal that when we first started, we were like, no, we're going to play in Vegas one of these days. And we always say that about California too, like, we're going to get there one of these days. And it was actually a reality that we completed. So it was just kind of like coming home and reflecting on that, just making it home safe, everybody being good. It was a good night. But like I said, it was probably like 2, 3 in the morning, probably even earlier than that, because we stopped and got breakfast too, so it was kind of, it was pretty early too.
I bet they all enjoyed that. That sounds cool.
It was a good trip, man.
So it sounds like we're both not sticking to the rules here. We said best nights. It's like, all right, well, it's a football team moment. Like, yeah.
Yeah, no, like I said, like, my nights when I thought they were good, they really maybe weren't the best.
Yeah.
But like, I'm really kind of thinking about the term. I'm like, man, this was. I still get excited about just thinking about, you know, coming home to that, because it was such a big thing to accomplish and then to get done.
Yeah.
And we got it done, and it was all good. So just stuff like that where you can validate something and just kind of look forward to going forward, you know?
Yeah.
Onward. So maybe that's what a good night is, just sort of like, you know, knowing that you got stuff to look forward to, or, I don't know, even just kind of getting in that opportunity to say hi to somebody, or to try to go and, you know, win the tournament, or, you know, to even just, like, how would that moment have been if you didn't, you know, get the fumble, you know? Would it just been a normal night, you know?
I don't know. Like I think we had momentum that night. You know, like I think if I hadn't like clinched it, maybe we would have played a little longer. And it probably would have went into overtime. But I think we had such good energy that night. We were clicking, like really, like defense was kicking ass, offense was kicking ass, and it was like I think we probably still would have won. And even if we hadn't, like I think that still would have been like a good night. Go home with some lumps. I think I'm mixing it up with a middle school time, though. Like I said, I wasn't sure if it was high school or middle school. I think the Picada night was some other night where I was proud because I talked to his daughter, and the other time, I think it was middle school because I think on the same night, Luke, you remember Luke?
Yeah.
He broke his finger while he was on defense. That was the same night, and I don't think Luke was there when I was on the high school team. I don't feel like he was anyway.
Huh. You're like Nick, mashing all your football memories into like one.
Yeah, I know. That happens a lot with my memory, man. Like I think about shit. I think another one of the nights that I wrote down for this list, I think it wound up being 2 different nights.
Yeah, no, it kind of all mesh, and then
yeah, like when I was thinking about making the list, when I was just thinking like, all right, nights, because I know there was a bunch of nights where stuff just worked out right, and there was a bunch where they didn't, of course, but like I was like, the way I was searching my memory was thinking about the mood, like how great it felt, and I think I came across several nights where maybe they didn't all happen the same night, but it was like this good vibe, like just that I was looking for, and that's what a couple of these other things are on my list.
Wow. So the topic should have been decent nights.
Yeah.
So what you wanna? Cause yeah, I think I broke pretty much the rule on all these.
Yeah.
But I mean,
what are rules for, you know?
Okay.
All right, so my next one, I'm going to talk about the nights that I kind of blended together.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll put that one off. I got another one. Hold on. I'm looking at the list right now. So I think these nights are related, but you know, I could be wrong. I feel like it was the same night. This is another one of those mashups. I went out and I got a 30 pack, and I took it back to the Ville, and like I want to say I had already wrecked my car. No, I definitely had. I had like I had a 30 pack. I picked it up, and I was chilling with my cousin Amber. We were out in the village, and I had a 30 pack. Me and her were just sitting at the basketball courts. Like, we weren't mobile because my car had been wrecked. So we were sitting at the basketball court drinking the 30 pack, like just me and her. And back in the day, she used to drink a lot, and or I guess a lot like I did. And we're like, what tends to happen is you start getting a good vibe, and then you like drink a little harder, and then when you get messed up, it's like, all right, let's do something, let's go have some fun, and, which is usually not a good idea, but you do it sometimes. And I went out and I got a hacksaw, and like my windshield was all smashed in, so it was like you couldn't drive it, you couldn't see out the window. So I took a fucking hacksaw and cut my windshield out. I just started cutting it. It was crazy because the blade and the glass were sparking as I was cutting it, which is crazy. I didn't expect that. But I cut the windshield out, and we started going for a cruise. I said, let's go to the gate. And we started heading out there. And like I was just like, let's just go for a cruise. Let's go for a cruise. Like, cool, let's go. We hopped in the car, and we started headed towards the gate. And we started, we were going good long ways, freaking driving, the wind's blowing through the giant hole in my windshield, like bits of glass are still kind of falling off and hitting us in the chest, and we're just cruising. And we get to that big curve where the gate's at. And for anybody who doesn't know what the gate is, it's like the border crossing into Mexico from the reservation. And it used to just be a cattle guard with some barbed wire fence, and you could just drive over and there'd be people that would meet us there, and they'd sell beer or whatever. But that's not why we went. We just went for a cruise. It was the middle of the night, so they wouldn't have been there anyway. But about maybe San Miguel or whatever. I think we had already reached Newfields, and Amber, me and her were talking, and she told me she had never driven before. So I let her get behind the wheel. I was like, fuck yeah, now's the day, you know. And she got behind the, and I thought, you know, all right, even people who say they've never driven before, you know, they have driven at some point, right? Like they've been behind the wheel.
Yeah.
And she got behind the wheel. Damn, I was terrified after that. Like she was like going off the road, getting back on. There was some real big curves out there in Newfields. And she'd be driving pretty fast, like 35, 40, going towards the curve. And I remember when I first started driving, I'd be terrified of those turns, you know, like, am I going to slow down fast enough? Or am I going to go slow enough that when I turn, we don't flip over and all that, like, all these fears. And I was scared watching her drive because, like, we'd be going at them so fast. And I could see her clinching up, and, like, we were just, like, all over the road, here and there and whatever, and then we got up to that big curve where the gate's at, and there was a fucking border patrol sitting there. Or it was an SUV. I couldn't tell if it was the cops or the border patrol. And then and we were driving all fucking nuts, and I was like, oh fuck, I think maybe you should let me drive. And I was just like, nah, like all right, turn around, like let's go back. Like I think this is the end of our night. And she turned around, we started heading back, and we went by, and I realized it was a border patrol truck sitting there on the curve, and we drove by them, and we started getting a little distance, and I was all paranoid. I started watching in the mirror, and I see it pull off onto the road behind us, and I'm just like, oh fuck, this is the night, this is it. Like, what? I don't know what the hell a border patrol could do, but at the very least, they could have called a TOPD over. They could have called the cops over. And we had been drinking, you know, that night. And we started going, and I said, "Switch me seats right now. Like, we gotta get the fuck out of here, and I can't let you drive us off the road while we're escaping here." So we pulled over, and I hopped in the driver's seat, and she hopped in the passenger, and I just started gunning it. And like, that's where it was kind of really scary because the wind was blowing in a lot harder. Like, our mouths are kind of opening up, you know, your eyes are flattening out. It's just like you can barely see, like squinting to dry. All this glass flying in, and I'm like, I'm gunning it. Like, I'm watching in the, there's no like, I'm watching in the side mirrors because my freaking main mirror doesn't exist anymore. The middle one, the rear view mirror. So I'm just watching in these mirrors, and I could see those headlights coming out. I'm just like, oh fuck, like this is it. So I really started gunning it and putting some distance between us. And at some point, we hit the curves in San Miguel, and out of nowhere, this big, bright white horse. Like, I want to say the size of a Clydesdale, but it still like had like the firm, smaller body of like a regular horse. And down, we almost hit it. Like we were flying right at it, and I just swung the steering wheel. And the tires started squealing, and we started sliding towards it, and then I swung it back the other way, and we basically just looped right around the horse, like just missed it. But we were flying at it sideways, and then I swooped it the other way, and we swapped. We just went right around the horse and kept going. And I remember going like we were both just like, holy fuck, like holy shit, that was close. We were just like freaked out. And then we got, and like I didn't want to drive anymore, but I was like, fuck, we got to get away. And then I look over, and the community building, I think it was in San Miguel, might have been Chula. I think it was San Miguel, because they got like that little Ramada next to it. It's kind of set up as like a church too. And I saw that, and I pulled over, and then drove like beside the building, up on top of the concrete that's under that Ramada, and we pulled over there, and I just shut off all the lights, and we just kind of got real quiet, and we were watching, we're looking back, and then like maybe, you know, a couple minutes later, like 4 or 5 border patrol trucks were flying down the road, and they all had their lights on, and they were like they're going by real fast, and we were just watching like shit, like, was that for us? I don't know. Like, I don't know what the hell that is. And we just kind of hung out. I was like, you know, we're going to hang out here. And we wound up breaking out the ice chest full, like, still had about a 30 pack in there, a little less. maybe like a half a 30 pack. It was all on ice and floating around in this big cooler on the back seat. And we just started drinking again, and like we just sat out on my hood and drank and talked the rest of that night, like just talking away, looking up at the stars. And later on, like maybe hours later, we started to drive back, and that's what happened. We went down to Cells to hit this party. And I just started breaking out with all the beer I had, like whatever was left of the thing. I started breaking out, and I remember I was hitting up these girls. The one girl that I was always into, and the girl that her friend, and they were just both like, I don't know, I was in the zone. Like after having such a good night, I was in the zone, and like they were just eating every word that I said, and it was just a great night. And like we wound up driving back that night after the party, like tricking at the dance and Cells, and we wound up coming back to the house, and like we made it. Like it was just, we were safe. We made it back.
Yeah.
But it was like just a crazy night that kind of, and it was that same feeling you were talking about just things going right, and that relief you feel when you make it, and you know everybody's safe. You just made it home. Yeah,
that's
it's a long story. It's a long story. I went.
No, that's wild, but it's cool. I mean, cool that you made it. How old are you? What is you?
It was shortly after I wrecked my car, so I was 18 because I got the car. I was 18 or 19. I got the car with my with the per capita payout.
Okay. Yeah. Man, I'm getting old, dude.
Hell yeah, dude.
Getting old.
Old guys.
But yeah, I don't know if I can top that one.
Oh, I'm sure you can, brother.
This is kind of similar, but again, like I said, I want wholesome on this, but no, when I graduated, when I finally got to, say I was going to be done with school, it's bullshit when you're in high school and they say it's 4 years. It's like, nah, that's like, that timeline is leaving out a lot of factors that could possibly happen, and will probably happen, and will cause us to extend this 4-year timeline,
Yeah.
They're not including the time if you fail a class or whatever. So to be done with school, I was like, I was still like in my late 20s, but it was, I'm getting kind of older, so we kind of be done with it. I'm like, so the night before my graduation, like the big ceremony where everybody from that year, and they have fireworks at the football stadium, and they like close down all the major streets, and I mean it's a huge, there's so many people. But the day before, I celebrated. So I celebrated like I should have celebrated that night. I did it the day before, so I was kind of maybe not as energized to go out and celebrate that night after that, but it was I know it was Jonathan was there because he graduated the same year I was there, but he's younger than me, so I was we didn't really see each other when we were in school, so it was kind of cool just to kind of see him there. But like, other than that, it was like all these people I didn't even know, but they go to the U of A, and I don't know. You just really I really felt like not so much like I always felt like I didn't do it the route that they want me to take.
Yeah.
So to see all these other people that had finished and they were done, they were completed like me, but yet, you know, that maybe they were doing other things, or they got their degree in something else, and it was a lot to take in, and you know, just to, you know, calling my mom because they're in the stands, and they're trying to tell me where they're at, and it's all huge. And well, that was actually my first time going to the football stadium. I never went to a game when I was there. I just wasn't really a part of my time there. It almost felt like I was just trying to hurry up and finish.
Yeah.
So to be done, and then to actually be able to go there and just kind of like, oh, there's games here, and you know, but I watched the games on TV, but like, you know, I grew up doing that, so to actually be able to be there, and it's not for a football game, it's for your graduation, and it's like, oh damn, this is a big deal. So that night when we went and ate some like Roto Canada with my cousins, and it was chill. It was a chill, sort of vibe. It wasn't like a lot of people. You know, Brooks went to the graduation. I didn't even know he was there, but there were so many people. It was, I mean, you know, anybody could have been there. You wouldn't have known. So, like, you know, after everything was done with, you know, we went to the hotel, and I get a call from, you know, one of my good friends, Monty, who I sort of, like, kind of lost touch with, and didn't really know what he was up to.
Yeah.
And little did I know he was actually like going back to school and, you know, taking classes, and, you know, kind of in the same boat I was in just before I graduated. So it was kind of like, you know, I don't have a big desire to go back, but I still enjoy the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And I still like, you know, reminiscing on those times. So, you know, for Monty to kind of reach out to me, because, like I said, he was trying to get his degree, and then suddenly he was like at that point where I said, just go to the U of A, go there, and then you start to work at it, and now you're done. So it was just, that night when we were talking about just, you know, catching up on our lives, and me talking about graduating, you know, it was like the beginning of this new chapter, because then I was like, I knew the school, so I felt comfortable telling him about the school. And we kind of had that in common, where I had finished there, but I still felt like I wasn't done there, so I almost got to relive the experience through him again. But it was like, that was the start of it, because, you know, he was reaching out to me, asking me questions.
Yeah.
And so, you know, the night of my graduation, it was just like, I was talking to him on the phone, not even like celebrating or anything. They're just excited, talking about like, man, you need to go back. You know, you should do this, you should do that. You know, just kind of being happy that I could do it, but then being able to talk about it with somebody else, it was like, all right, I actually know what I'm saying. I actually can talk what I'm talking, which is kind of weird because I think I struggled with that when I got my degree. It was kind of like I'm still the same person. I'm not doesn't just because they put my name on the paper I'm any better or anything like that. But I don't know. I still kind of wrestle with that concept. But you know, he finished school, so you know now we have those conversations now where you know, even though you finish school, there's still like more to conquer. Yeah. So I think, I mean, that was pretty much the story. You know, wasn't. The graduation was cool though. You know, they had a lot of cool like a lot of. It was like WrestleMania how they had them set up. Like a pay-per-view, you know, had like big props and stuff. And all the prestigious doctors and I don't know, there's just a lot of important people that I didn't know, but yeah, I was able to say I was done with it. But yeah, man, that was the story. Pretty much.
The whole time I was just thinking, I don't know, like I missed that night. I didn't make it.
It was like they have like so many different graduations, and there was like maybe 4 of them I could have, you know, walked through, but you know, it wasn't really like either it didn't fit my schedule. You know, because they have like one for your particular college, and then like the AIS has one, and I'm pretty sure a bunch of other people have them. So like, I know I didn't walk in that one, the last one I think it was, where it's all natives. I can't remember why I didn't make it to that one, but I mean, but that one they said they let everyone make a speech, and I don't know. See, the thing with the big graduation is I mean, maybe a few students got to talk, but it was like, you know, you're pretty much just there. It's not like they call your name and they just tell you to stand up, but like the night before there was another graduation where it was just with my college, and it was not as many people, so they did announce your name and you had to walk up. Yeah, that was pretty smooth because they had these little kids that were playing like mariachi music.
Oh yeah.
And they were getting down.
That sounds cool.
That was cool. But you know, when I was in school, you helped me out a lot. Especially that later in, because, you know, like I wasn't really like staying in Tucson, and I needed a place to stay, and I could kind of ask you if I could be cool if I chill. Yeah. So I don't know if I ever told you that, but you know, you were kind of, you know, helping me out a lot.
That's what's up, man.
Because I wasn't really trying to like stay in Tucson. I was just like, man, I'm just trying to finish these last credits, and I'll be on my way. But
yeah, I liked kicking it with you whenever I could. Like whenever I did see you, it was good to see you. I think that was one thing that just having you at the U of A kind of afforded us. Like we could kick it because I was like right there.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. That's pretty. I don't know, man. That it's good stuff to go through a ceremony like that and like to put in the time and then have it pay off for you like that. That's and then afterwards it's like, all right, well, what's next? And it's just like, well, what's next? Like I don't know.
Yeah. It's like go figure that shit out yourself, huh? Oh man, but what do you got?
I was thinking of 4th of July in Coalfields. It was a night where I had just enough money to like throw down and I think just enough people's schedule worked out right. But it was coming down and I wanted to go out to Coalfields, I wanted to go out to the res, and I think I had everything lined up right where it was like, alright, they're gonna come get me, I'm gonna head down and I'm gonna party. But at the same time I was also thinking about the kids, like I wanna get them involved too. So before I went down I got like a whole grip of flashlights, a whole grip of like a couple pounds of meat, like some seasoned meat. I got a whole bunch of beer and like liquor and like mixer stuff like ice and cups and all that, and then I got like fireworks and sparklers and all that, like sparklers and fireworks, like little poppers and light making things of butterflies. Like a bunch of little things kind of lined up just right where we were just set to have like a good party, and like I arranged it with my mom, my sister, and had them like all slapped together, like just whatever they had. I think someone brought water balloons, and a good thing was they brought a bunch of kids. Like there was like like maybe I want to say about six kids, all kind of about the same age. Maybe not. I think Daniel might have been the oldest at the time, but like maybe they were all close enough. And so we got a big yard and it's all closed in, so it's kind of safe, and we had just enough lights where they they could run around, and like it's kind of safe, kind of not. Like it's still the middle of the desert, but like I was out there cooking it up. Like all my cousins, like a bunch of my cousins that don't usually get to kick it with me were there. They had their kids, and like it was like a parent-kid thing, and like all the kids were running around like the kind of shit that I remember growing up with. Like we didn't even have flashlights. We were just running around in the dark like at a dance.
Yeah.
But like I gave them, like, we were playing music, and like I gave all the kids flashlights, and they had like dart guns, like all these just cool kids things. So like they were running around crazy, and since all these adults were standing outside, and like we were partying, but it was like we knew the kids were okay because we were out there, and like the kids felt safe, so they played, they all did their thing, and then like I started throwing out fireworks, and like we had like I bought like a 12-pack of like laser swords. They were like really cheap knockoff lightsabers, but they worked. They were pretty decent. Like they made noise when you hit them, and they light up and all that. And the kid, like we just had like these big sword fights, and like we had music and there were drinks, and like the adults were playing with the kids were playing with the kids, and then we had like I did like a little fireworks show where I was just lighting stuff out and throwing them out, and gave some to my cousins. They were all lighting them, and the kids are all like yelling and screaming and jumping around. And like we had like a dog that wasn't our dog, but it was somebody's dog up the street, and it came over and was like biting at the fireworks, and it was mayhem. But it was a great freaking night. Like not very often do I get to feel what I remember as a kid, but from the opposite, like as an adult. I had given it, I had given it to my nieces and nephews, and I don't think Amadeus was born yet, but it was a couple. It was a couple 4th of July's back, man. But it was like just a great night. Just everything worked. Like everyone was safe and everyone was having a good time. And like not only were the adults having a good time, but the kids were having a good time. And like we cooked up a whole bunch of food. Like my mom and my sister, they all made like sides and all that. And like my dad came out for a little bit. Like we just all got to spend some time together. It was like a big family thing that I helped kick off, which I had never done, as a kid. So I don't know, it was just a good night.
Yeah, when you're an adult, you can actually plan the party where you want to plan it. Yeah, that's cool.
Like we all got smashed, but like it was safe. Like near the end, we put all the kids inside, and they watched a movie, and they all started laying out. We gave them blankets and pillows, and when they fell asleep, we kept going. And then, like in the middle, like by the next morning, we were all, asleep. There was all these beds and couches everywhere, and it was just a good night. Like everybody slept in, and then the next morning, I think we made like a big breakfast. It was awesome.
Sounds pretty peaceful. Yeah, it doesn't take much, but you got a good group and you got some good jams playing.
Yeah, sometimes things work out and the vibe just goes well. Like, there's been parties where I would show up and or I'd be throwing a party and it would just be like I was busy being the host the whole night, and I never really just sat back and let it happen. Like once the food was cooked and everybody had a drink and like all the kids had flashlights and everybody was happy, I could just sit back and watch it happen. It was good.
Yeah, it reminded me of a episode in The Office. And the boss, Robert California, he's I don't know his real name, his actual name, but he's this badass. He's like the boss, but he's selling his house, this mansion he owns, and he's selling the mansion, and it's just this pretty cool pad that he was trying to turn into a bachelor pad, but then he got married and it kind of just didn't serve his purpose. So he invited everybody to kind of have a going away party and
one last
time, and it actually becomes a lit party, and everybody's having a good time, and the guy just in the middle of it kind of realized it, hey, this is why I wanted this house, and I'm glad we're kind of getting to celebrate it. And he just sort of just takes off his clothes and just jumps in the pool. And, it's so simple, but yet it's not it's not a guarantee it's gonna happen.
Yeah, you can do everything right and it will just suck ass.
Oh yeah. I always say you can plan a pretty picnic, but you can't predict the weather.
Yeah.
Outcast. Andre 3000. Oh man. I commend you for that.
Yeah, it doesn't happen often. Sometimes there's a big disconnect where I'm having a good time and the kids aren't having a good time, or the kids are having a good time, but like the adults are like all in their own rooms, like not getting along. So I mean that was a big thing. Like it clicked.
Yeah.
It just happened. Anyway, all right.
Well, I guess it's like the party requires the logistics, and sometimes when you're a party, we just want to do the fun stuff.
Yeah. Well, we just arranged it right that night.
Yeah, for sure. Man, I can't. I don't know if I can top that one. This ain't really much, but this is kind of, I think, this is where my mind was at when I went, but because I was where I was at, and yeah, I can't remember, it was like 4 years ago or 3 years ago, me and one of my lady friends went to Rocky Point, and it was like, we had to get away, but no, I think that's what it pretty much was, is just to kind of get away, but in a whole different sense of like leaving the country, which was what it was. I driving to Mexico, and I don't speak that well Spanish, so like you're kind of out of your element when you go there sometimes, because you could easily just get robbed if you're not smart, and I don't know, it's you're in Mexico, and so the hours are just like there'll be people like partying at 1, 2 in the morning, and it'll be just loud. I mean, it seems like the noise never goes away. It's just like there's something happening, and that this hotel where we were staying at, it was just right on the kind of right by it was right down one of the major streets where things were popping. They had a lot of like it was a long road, but like on each block there was like a different band playing, and and people like just crowding the streets, and then all the different like food stands, and I mean it was popping. Like you just hear music, but then it's like music from like all around you. And so when I went to the beach, chilling at the beach, and I think what it was, I think in America we get stressed out, and and there's a lot of stuff happening in our lives in North America, so to kind of be in this new content, in this new country, and it was not a new country, but just started being away from that, at least technically not in that borderline to where, like, man, I can just disappear and find my calling here and not need to go back. I remember feeling that relaxed to just where I'm like, man, can I just not return home and just
be in Mexico?
I mean, not to say if I were really wanting to, I could, but it was just like, I can if I wanted to, but, I think there's a lot of other things that we do enjoy in America that were, that was where my job was at, that was, where my family's at, so it's like, even though there's all kinds of, like, political stuff you got to deal with. You know, I had to return, but it was just sort of being in that element, and I don't know, just kind of like, you know, being away, but almost like wanting to disappear.
You know, I don't think I've ever been down there, like, when I was old enough to really enjoy it. Kind of like Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, wait, what do you mean? You've never been there, or?
I've been to Mexico. I've been to Rocky Point, and I've never been out there, like, when I was old enough to, like, just take off and go have fun.
Yeah, no,
or get robbed, you know. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, no,
it seemed okay. The area
it's okay.
I mean, I'm sure it's changed lately, you know.
Right? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more hotels and
yeah, definitely
resorts along the beach. And
here's a weird tidbit. That was in Rocky Point was the first place my nipples bled, and I think it was because I had a shirt on. I kept a shirt on. I didn't know that. I didn't know that could happen. That's a weird. That's a weird tidbit, but I was out in the ocean, and I bled. My nipples bled from my shirt. I don't know if it was Mexico water or just sea water. But yeah, that was terrible. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I was a kid, so that was my big thing. Was my memory is being in the ocean.
Oh, damn. That was
not like bar hopping and partying or something.
I mean, like, I've been to the ocean in San Diego and other parts of Cali, but in Rocky Point, there is actually like jellyfish right there. Like, I never seen jellyfish in the water in San Diego, but in Rocky Point, you gotta watch out for them jellyfish. Depending on the season, I think, but
yeah,
and then, you know, they pee on you if you get stung. Apparently it feels better when you pee on you.
Yeah, supposedly. I hear it's a big infection type of deal when you get pissed on and you got all these open wounds, but still, yeah. I hear I think it's the pneumonia? Pneumonia?
Maybe, because they also say
ammonia in your piss. Huh?
Windex, too. They say Windex.
Windex, of course. But of course.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that.
Oh, man. Okay. Alright. That sounds like a good time.
Yeah. You don't want to return.
Yeah. That's the big story, isn't it? Like going over the border, like riding off into the sunset on your way to Mexico.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, like, in all the movies,
yeah,
it's like, let's go to Mexico, or like, it's always, that's the way to solve all the problems. Let's go to Mexico.
Let's just go to Mexico.
Yeah.
We'll start a new life in Mexico, then.
Yeah, like, speak Spanish.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but
I think I could do okay down there now. Maybe.
I think so too. You know, just watch a lot of like Telemundo. But what are you taking this?
New Year's. On 4th Ave. New Year's on 4th Ave. This is one of those. this is probably the main story that was that I mashed together because it was 2 different nights. One night, I'm pretty sure you were there. We had the dance circle. Remember that?
Oh yeah. I remember that.
I think it was you. Maybe not. I don't know. Nash was there.
I've been a part of many days.
yeah. I see you twirling across the not even the dance floor, but like the pool hall area. I see you twirling, man. You know how to have a good time.
Yeah. That's an understatement.
Yeah, right. Yeah, definitely. You and me both. Alright, so two different New Years. The first one I'm mentioning, there was a dance circle. Like we just I was out. I went out. I know Nash was there for sure. I think his cousin and a couple of the buddies in that group were there. I thought for sure you were there too. And it was just kind of dull in the beginning. You know, we started getting our drinks and we're just kind of sitting around our quiet little group, you know, and there's all these other groups. Like it's supposed to be New Year's, you know, so like I think we got there a little early. And things were kind of slow, like people were getting, you know, set up to like do drinks and all these specials and whatever. And we were in the outside sitting area outside Mr. Head's. And at some point, like they started playing, like I think we were waiting for the DJ. Like the DJ was gonna start at a certain time. And when they did, like I think by the time he got there, we had enough drinks where we started getting up and dancing. And at some point, I remember jumping in the middle of our little group and like really fucking shaking it and getting down and then I like hopped out and then somebody else hopped in and like started going and like it was just our little circle. It was probably kind of weird because it was a bunch of dudes, but like we're taking turns hopping in the middle and we're just starting to like whoop it up like whoa, you know, like yeah, get down, you know. We're just starting to hype up the place. I remember looking around and people started like watching our group, and then like I think I jumped out of the circle and jumped into somebody else's circle and like danced in front of them and then came back to our circle, and then like the group got bigger. And we're just like, oh shit, like more people were there and they all started hopping in, and then I looked around again and everybody inside was looking outside, and then like after a little bit the group got bigger, like more people kept showing up and like we're dancing and like the DJ started hitting some like real hyped up songs, and like next thing you know, like the whole outside was just tearing it up, like just dancing and like fucking just vibing with the music.
Yeah. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that was a crazy night, and I think we went like bar hopping after that until like closing time. But that was a great fucking night, and it was just like starting a dance circle. I'd never been like this. Never like popped it off, like never kicked that shit out, and for it to just become like this huge dance circle. It blew my mind. Like I was like, oh, it's real. It doesn't just happen in movies.
Well, that's the funny part. Is like in movies, it's like everybody's really grooving, but in real life, it's everybody kind of distant and not really wanting to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
But then
alcohol.
I don't know, man. You get someone going.
Yeah.
Get something going. I don't know, but sounds like a good night.
All right. And then I had to go the other way, and it was just same kind of tidbit. Still on for New Year's. It was years later, and I went down there with Sarah. You know, and it was we started off the night thinking we might meet up with a couple of those guys, but we'll go. And I remember it was like my allergy season, like it was full blown, my nose was running, so I like popped a couple allergy pills. I popped like 2 of them thinking like, alright, this is gonna this will dry it out real quick, it'll knock it out. And then like we went, it was New Year's, and like me and my lady, we were dancing, like we were really tearing it up and like having a good time and grooving. But then those pills, they like mixed with my drink, you know, like I started like blacking out part of the night. But then like I came to and we were just like dancing, still dancing, you know. It was like right before New Year's, and it started snowing.
Oh.
Like, so like I don't know, like we finished it off, we did this big cheers with they handed out bubbly, you know, we all got champagne, and we all toasted at the end of the night. And then like me and Sarah walked home, and like it was snowing, and like we just lived down the way, so we didn't drive or anything like that. It was just safe. Like we walked over there, and we were close enough that we could walk to 4th, and then we walked back, and we made it home, and it was just like a good, nice, like awesome night. And it snowed, like it was just perfect. Like it was awesome. So same thing. I thought those were on the same night, the dance circle, and then that, but it wasn't. But it was like me and my lady. We went together, we danced together, we had a good time, and we just vibed. We vibed it and made it home safe. Good times.
Wow. And it snowed?
Yeah. I think that's what made it the craziest. Was like I don't think it even kicked off until we started walking home and it snowed, and like we were just like, I don't know, middle of the night. You know, the roads were kind of slow, and like we were walking up the sidewalk and just, you know, dancing in the snow. I think we even stopped at that one lady's hot dog stand. We got some big old hot dogs. I can't remember the lady's name, but yeah, like that was also part of it. Like after a night of drinking, you stop and have like a meal, like a greasy meal. It's so reinvigorating.
Sonoran dog?
Yeah, dude. Or whatever kind of dogs they had. I think that lady had like several different kinds.
Oh.
She's usually parked outside of O'Malley's.
Nice.
Yeah, that was a good night.
That was on New Year's?
Yeah. It snowed on a New Year's.
Wow. I'm trying to think of it. I mean, yeah, like I said, like some nights start off good, but then maybe they don't turn out the way you wanted them to go.
Yeah.
Oh man. This next thing is there were 2 days. It was actually 2 days, but I'm breaking the rule again. But the band Thursday they were doing like their entire album. It was like a 10-year anniversary for the Full Collapse album and the War All the Time album. So each night they played 2 nights in a row, and it was in Phoenix. And the first night they played the Full Collapse album, and then the second night they played the War All the Time album. And so like when they announced that tour, I bought those tickets just for myself, because I was like, I didn't even know we'll be able to, like, you know, donate. Like that was 2 days. You know, usually a concert is 1 day. You know,
yeah.
This was a 2-day thing, so it's kind of like,
sounds awesome.
Who do I know that wants to take part in this? But
yeah.
But I didn't. I ended up like, I think I just bought them, and then took the day off, but you know, I didn't really. It's like I didn't really plan it as well because, you know, I went by myself, and you know, when I got there, I was like, there might be a chance I drive back and then just drive back again, or maybe I'll get a hotel. I didn't really have a plan because it was kind of like, we'll see what happens when we get up there. And so, you know,
we'll see what happens when we get out there.
So we go there. I get there to the show, and it's awesome because it's a small place. And
oh, cool.
And I don't see anybody I know, so I'm like, I wonder if I don't know anybody here. And then just, you know, the show starts to get fuller. You know, more people are coming, and Zaya actually pops out of nowhere, and I believe it was his birthday that day because he had showed me something he did online that was you know, connected to the day of his birthday, and you know, so I brought him around, and you know, it was just like I didn't know you would be here, and so it's just kind of like, if I known you were here, then I would have like, maybe we should have came up together. And then I was like, are you coming back tomorrow? And you know, it was just everybody that I saw that I knew. You know, my friend Clan and Monty, they showed up, and then Sissy, she was there. I hadn't seen Sissy in a long time, and you know, she was there at the show. So it was just, you know, a lot of like familiar faces, but like the band was, I forgot they were into the band, you know. So so it was just like, man, I wish I was thinking of you when I ordered the tickets, because we could have planned something more elaborate than just finding out you're at the show. So so people that drove, they had to drive back, but like there's only a couple of us that actually. So I ended up staying. I got a hotel there's a hotel nearby, so I ended up staying, and a few of my friends that were staying too, we went and got drinks in downtown Phoenix, and they had a ride, so I didn't have to really worry about driving. I just parked my car, so hanging out with them, but it was like, you know, you still got tomorrow, so, you know.
Yeah.
It was almost like it's like not a festival, but it was like, you know, it was like day one, day two. It was like, so that next day, you know, I, you know, hung out in Phoenix, did some things. But, you know, was really just ready for the next show because it was a 2-day thing, and man, it was awesome. I mean, they played like the albums like front to back. It was cool. And,
whoa.
Bless you.
Yeah, thanks.
And yeah, I mean, only thing that was kind of, but it was still a good night because, you know, I had to drive back because I had work the next day, so I had to go back after the second day, and it turned out my headlight was out, and so I kind of caravan with those guys, Monty and them, because you know, they were kind of like pretty much blocking my one headlight out. So like we stopped off in Casa Grande, got some IHOP, and you know, it was just you know bullshitting, you know, talking shit, you know, just all tired, drinking coffee, and then I didn't even make it home. I ended up just staying at their spot because of my light. So but it was just like 2 days worth of good live music, and and it was kind of something not really. It was kind of like one of a kind, you know, for a band to kind of just play one album, and that was, you know, it was like definitely worth it. But yeah, no, I'm still excited about getting to go to that, because you know, lately with shows, like I don't want to go to like, I want to go to outdoor shows, and I really want to. I'm going to a show. I really want to see the band, but like,
yeah,
I haven't been excited about seeing a band, or I don't know. I'm picky, so I could have easily passed up this show by just like making up an excuse of not wanting to go, but and I actually went, and yeah. Sometimes I don't do that stuff. Like I just choose not to go, because then I gotta plan it.
yeah, you gotta execute it.
Yeah, so that was 2 cool nights, man. But
yeah, man, something about live music that changes it all. Like makes music can make a night like just go well.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always just, you know, booze. It's booze and music, or music and booze. Like it's I don't even know if you guys are drinking that night, but I'm assuming there was some drinking. And,
oh yeah, we were. I mean, I was.
Yeah.
It was responsibly, of course.
Responsibly, yes.
Pinky up.
Pinky up. No, yeah, I was thinking about the night we were having, we went to Vehemence. And,
oh, yeah.
And I met up with you, and, like, we wound up chilling at your house, and, like, I think we were all laying out, like, a bunch of hot dogs in the living room, and, we were just bullshitting the whole night. Yeah.
I think that one, so like that one could have made my list, but then it was like your truck was fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to jump in some other truck on the freeway.
Yeah. Besides that, you know. I was just thinking about the time, like out there in Tempe and all that.
Yeah. I think that same day they were in a car accident.
Really?
That day before? No, that day of the show, we were in a car accident. We ended up having to take the bus to the show.
Oh, really?
So we didn't have a ride, so luckily we were going to hop in with you, but then your ride didn't work. And we had to just, we'll go with whoever you go with.
Yeah.
Well,
we made it.
Yeah, and then my house, I didn't have jack shit in there. It was just, I don't even know if I had a TV. It was like I didn't have no furniture, so...
I remember just laying out on the floor.
Yeah.
A couple of blankets, you know, laying our heads on T-shirts, whatever. I remember my forehead was split open, too, from headbutting that guy. And then I think the same night I saw a guy break his leg.
Oh.
Remember? You were there. It was that night. Yeah. The guy I was talking to, and I think the second Vehemence came out or something. He ran out and just got knocked to the ground. His leg like just shattered in like 2-3 places and just folded up.
Okay. I've been to so many. At the time Devastation had a lot of shows, and I would go there. So I was like, concerts become meshed, you know?
Yeah.
So what you did after, you know, what did you do before, who was all there, who all played, what shirt did you buy?
Earlier you made a point, I think you said you didn't like outdoor shows? You're not looking for like outdoor shows? Are you saying you like the smaller, intimate, like you and the band kind of thing?
Maybe. I think it was more like like Warped Tour or Ozfest, like all these bands, and you're all standing out in the hot sun, and you're like, there's all kinds of stages, and you're trying to get to the right one where you want to see that band play, and I don't. That seems too much. Like, I'm too old. I can't do that. I just want a good show. I mean, Rialto's a good venue.
Yeah, it is.
So if they're playing at Rialto, I'll go. But like, I'm just saying, like, the Ozfest days, I don't know if I can handle that. You know, I might just hang out for an hour and dip.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I sound like a angry old man.
Grumpy old man.
I don't want to do that no more.
Yeah, I laughed pretty hard because I was thinking the same thing. Like, damn, like, I don't. It would have to be a pretty badass show to get me to go back out now. Like, a good show.
Yeah.
Like once in a lifetime. If I don't see them now, I'm never gonna see them.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, it would have to be a fucking awesome artist for me to go to a festival and
you know what?
Stay up all day and
just.
You remember Kid from Mayday? I mean, I'm pretty sure they still have them, right? But like,
I've been to a couple of them.
Those were like. I mean, I can't remember. I felt like best night ever from going to them, but
I thought about them, but not really. Like, it's way out there. Same kind of thing, just out there all day.
I saw Foo Fighters at Cave and Mayday. That was pretty.
I saw System of a Down.
Oh yeah, I saw System of a Down.
I saw Incubus, and that was probably the big one for me. Was Incubus.
Yeah, I remember Stained.
Yeah. Okay.
Stained was pretty big, or I don't know. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with Stained, man. But
Stained was part of one of the first songs I played on the guitar.
Oh yeah, me too. I was playing that song the other day. It's like strange how I still know how to play that song, but I learned other songs and I forgot them. But that song, I know how to play it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's
very strange.
Yeah, it's like
yeah, sometimes they just come back.
Yeah.
I'll see the hand hold or hear the notes, and it's just like,
oh yeah. You hear the chord.
Yeah, and I start trying to find it again.
So I've been with my chords.
Yeah.
Man, I kind of don't know how to. I think we should just talk about shows now, because.
Well, my number 5 turns out to be a show.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I thought it was the same night I was telling you about at Laughlin.
The Smokey Robinson?
Yeah, but it wasn't. There was another show, and I was asked to go, like out of the blue. Whoa, I'm choking there. I was asked to go out of the blue, and it was my mom and sister saying, do I want to go to a show with my old man? Because I guess neither of them were interested in seeing what he wanted to go see. They're asking if I'd go with him. I was like, all right, cool. I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. And it was Gabriel Ayala.
Oh yeah.
All right, so you're like, oh yeah, you know who that is. I wasn't sure I knew who he was. And like at some point during the night, they played this like big video of him, like 50 years in music, like maybe more. Like he was just same get up, like all these different color, different shiny outfits with a big guitar and this big like I guess mariachi band, or I think he usually has a accordion. I don't think it was a guitar. I think it was an accordion that he was in all those movies with. And I went with my old man. Like, he wanted to go see him. It was somebody he knew, and it was at the, I think it was called the Riverside Casino. It's made to be like a big old boat, and then they had like this, like arena right next door to it. And we went in there, and like it was just a lot of Mexicans, like a lot of Mexicans. And I remember like they were all drinking beers, and I wanted to drink a beer, but like my old man, like he's a hardcore alky, and I felt kind of uncomfortable. It was older, I was younger, so I didn't know how to cross that line, you know. But I wanted a beer. I really wanted a beer, and like we were just kind of standing around at first, and like I was trying to like break the ice. So what we were doing, like I was just standing on the side with my old man, and I think we were waiting for the show to start. And I was just like, hey, let's get some beers, and we got a couple beers. I think 2 each, you know, so we didn't have to go back because it took forever to get in there because there's like so many people ordering beer. And they did like islands where you order your beer at an island, and the bartender's like just surrounded on all sides. And we were chilling out. We started getting a little sauced up, and then I was just people watching with him. Like I was just like pointing out people, like watching them dance. Like we were watching people dance. We were watching the show. And, you know, we started getting, like, a little tipsy, so it was kind of funny, and, like, we were both, like, yelling in the corner, like, yelling into each other's ears, like at the show, like, just talking, and, that dude was a hardcore accordion player. I swear, I think they were showing him throughout the years, he looked the same, almost through the entire thing, like, same outfit, same, like, shape face and body, and, like, just ripping on that accordion, like 50 years of music and like all these bands and all these shows across the world, and he was there, and it was badass. And like I remember when the show was all said and done, my dad wanted to go back to his room and pass out, and I wanted to go too, but like I was all amped, like I was like, man, like I got started, you know. I wanted to do some drinking in Laughlin, you know. It was too early. Like, Laughlin's right on the border of Nevada and Arizona. It's like, I think it's Laughlin, Arizona, but, like, right on the other side is, no. It's Arizona, the border with Nevada, and Laughlin's on the other side of the border. It's still Nevada, but it's closer than Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And they still got casinos and all that.
Well, you know what? It might be even split into two. It might be. Yeah, because I remember there was like Laughlin, Arizona, Laughlin, New Mexico.
Oh.
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
But I might be wrong. You might want to fact check that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so my old man wanted to pass out. And I was still amped. Like, I was like, this shit's on. And I remember there was a club, I think it was connected to our hotel, the hotel we were staying at. And so there was like all the casino floor, and then they had a club. And I went there. I went by myself. Like, everybody was passed out. I think my mom and sister were there too, but like they were passed out. My old man went and passed out. I was just like, I'm not going to go to sleep yet. I'm going to go hit the dance floor and see what's up. And I remember I went out there, and it was all fucking awkward. Like, the whole place was just full of all these cowboys, you know, all these Mexicans, and they were all amped up, and like I guess they were like playing like the mariachi music in the club. So like it was a whole other vibe. Like, it was like Mexico, and like I was all by myself. I didn't have like a group, so like I just kind of found like a spot off in the corner, and there was all these groups of people, and they were like, you know, they had all these fine women, like all these machismo dudes, like just stomping around, dancing, whatever, and like I was just like sitting there, and I was like, alright, I'm just gonna order some drinks, and I started hitting them back, and I remember at some point I got kind of loose, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go out and start dancing. So I started getting out there, you know, I started like, you know, checking the vibes of the women around me, like what's going on, like nothing popped off. I just kept dancing by myself, and I remember couple of the dudes that had their ladies, the same people, you know, the same groups. They were all out there with me, and they were like, you know, just kind of watching whatever. But it was like, you're dancing alone. We got all these ladies. Like, it was kind of competitive. And I remember at some point, this really like the only way I could describe her was she was a cougar. She was like an older woman, but like super like hot and like really nice dress. Like it was a kind of like a silky silver white dress. It was like slit. It was real long, like ankle length, but it was slit all the way up her thigh, like all the way up to like her hip on both sides. So the dress kind of like was cut all the way up the sides. Whoa. And just a beautiful woman. And I remember I had enough liquor in me. I had done enough dancing. I was like, I'm gonna hit this woman up. Like she was the type of woman where the whole room noticed her. You know, when she came in. And I remember I went up there and I fucking asked her if she wanted to dance, and I wound up, she said yeah, and I wound up like dancing with her. And then, like after that, like everybody kind of looked at me differently out on the dance floor, and it was because I had this like beautiful woman on my arm, and like we're dancing, and it was like, all like for like the next 4 or 5 songs, like I was just dancing with her, and like by then, like you had said before, I think it was the other weekend, it was just like used up all my money, and like that was it for me, and like I just called it a night. Like she wound up doing her own thing. She went off and started dancing later, like, and I was just like, I was all spent up. I was just like, all right, I'm good to go. And I was like, I remember dancing until like I was soaked from head to toe in sweat. Like just, I remember at some point I was gassed, and she was still like dancing all hard, and I was just like, just a you know, overweight, out of shape guy just trying to keep up. And that was a badass night. Like it was one of those like confidence builders.
Oh yeah.
I remember I wasn't with anybody, and I hadn't been with anybody in a long time. So like it was good to like have the affection of a woman and to like dance with them. I don't know. It was a great confidence booster. It was a great night. I remember I almost went to sleep that night, but instead I went dancing, and I danced the freaking night away, like the electric slide, all that shit.
Wow.
And I'll tell you, man, that's one thing I always loved about all the Mexican people, man. They can party. They know how to party. They know how to do it right, and they dress up like it's really. They're good people.
Yeah, that's a cool story, bro.
Cool story, bro.
I think I know that hotel you were at. It was like was there like a, kind of like a, not a river next?
Yeah, and like all of Laughlin, there's the Colorado River right there.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like right next to it.
Yeah, and then there's like pretty much like walkways to each hotel.
Yeah. Yeah, they're almost all connected.
Yeah, okay. I've been to Laughlin.
Yeah. I've been there. Yeah.
I've been there many times.
I've been there.
Yeah, I think I've been there like twice.
Yeah, me too. And I jumped in that river too. It was ice cold.
Oh, really?
That's kind of my thing now. Is when I go far away places, I like to jump in the river.
That's. And I fell in the river.
What river?
We're in White River, San Carlos. Is it San Carlos White River? I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
And there's a part where you can kind of take the side roads and kind of actually drive in closer to the river. And yeah, we were playing in a tournament, and we finished our games, and so we were headed back to. We stopped there at the river, and there was like a few of us, maybe about like 5 or 6 of us that were in the water, but at first I was not trying to, like, you're just hopping on the rocks, like, trying not to jump in the water.
Yeah.
And, I think it's just like, when you get the boys together, you it kind of amps up the testosterone or just the willingness to do stuff. And so, I was trying to run with the boys, the young ones, and so, first it was like we're hopping from rock to rock to just like to take this picture, and it was kind of a big leap, and all those young kids and Jeff, they both they made it look so simple.
Yeah.
To hop from this rock to this bigger rock, and I was the last one in the line, and so like I was kind of like
it's always the last guy.
Yeah, but I second guessed my jump, and I remember trying to catch that rock, and then boom, I fell in.
Yes.
So that was pretty awkward driving back. I guess, but my shoes ruined, man. They didn't ruin, but I wasn't trying to jump in the river with all my clothes on.
Yeah.
But I think that got everyone else hyped because they had to get a bath.
Yeah.
But then they wanted to jump in after that, so it was like, all right, cool. Well, I kind of got it popping, but it wasn't my plan. It was just sort of like. I shouldn't have second guessed myself when I was hopping. I should have just went with the flow. But yeah, I think when you get a little older, you start like, I want to keep up with these guys, but can't do what I used to do. Just
old guys.
Some old dude just
you look at the kids and they're like, oh, come on. He's like, hey, I'm just old. I'm old over here.
Yeah, well, they pulled me out, and yeah, that was a good night, though. That was a good night. I mean, talking about jumping in the river, I didn't plan on it, but it still happened.
Was it cold? Was that water cold up there?
Yeah, it was cold, man.
I don't know if White River is the same as San Carlos. But I just see it all as Apache country.
Yeah, I'm probably getting it wrong, but we were going to White River to play in the tournament, and on the way we crossed this river part where it's kind of like a freeway, but like I said, you can take side roads and it actually takes you down to the river. So
yeah, I've been out there a time or two.
Yeah, it's kind of like the river wanted me to jump in. So
yeah.
That's how I saw it after. Like,
oh yeah.
Like the river wanted me that bad to be in there.
It had to happen.
Yeah, it was bound. I don't know, but I don't know if I can top that story. Kind of seems like one you want to end on. With that whole idea of like, there's a bit where Seinfeld does this thing where he's like talking about day guy and night guy, and night guy goes out and he's like living it up, but day guy has to deal with his shit.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, this at night it usually tends to be at night when we go out, kind of.
Yeah. Tear it up.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe celebrating, prowling, exploring, and taking advantage of opportunities, shopping. I don't know. There's all these different things that you just kind of incorporate with the nighttime. And some night, what?
I'm just saying that's the spirit of this list here is a good night, like a night that the best nights, like nights that work out at least. Sorry, I had to dive in there.
No. I wrestle with those concepts because, like, you know, the other night I was in Phoenix driving around, but I was more worried about just being the driver.
Yeah.
And kind of like making sure everybody gets where they need to go.
Yeah.
To where, reflecting on that moment now, I'm like, that was a pretty cool night. You know, everybody got home okay. Again, kind of being like the theme of this whole thing where you made it home okay. It's kind of can qualify a good night, but like
you know that's it.
So, I mean, a good night can just be like, you know, driving around, playing some good music, you know, joking around with, you know, whoever you're spending your time with, but making it home safely. And I don't know, maybe like something to tell, I guess. Something to remember, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I think what's kind of cool is not one of these nights that we described are we absolutely alone. Like it's a social going out and involving other people thing in your life, in your celebration, and I really think that's what makes a night great. Is getting out and being around people. Like where else do you get that kind of energy, but with more people? And I think overall, like you said, the safety factor is closes the night out, and it becomes a good night because everybody made it home safe. And I think that's a good note to end on, is that you got out and everybody was safe. I think there's been nights where everything didn't go right, and it wound up either being a bad night or worked out anyway. But yeah, I think involving people, getting out of your routine and doing something different.
What I notice is, like, you can get home safe, but maybe not remember the good night, or or
shit. Some nights I don't remember driving back, and I'm not saying I blacked out drunk. I'm saying I'll drive, and I'm so used to driving back home that sometimes I just get home and don't remember how I got there, and nothing happened. And besides that danger, you know, like, ooh, what did I do? How did I get there? Then it's like, it's not all that memorable.
Well, maybe that's why we have that concept of going out and it being nighttime, where we're kind of not hoping, but, you know, just sort of seeing what's out there, and with maybe some hopes of it being memorable.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just another night, you know. I don't know.
Yeah. I was gonna say earlier that these types of nights are kind of what you shoot for. You know, I always feel like I'm chasing that good night. You know, like you're hoping to have another one of those good nights, and sometimes you drink a little more to try to get there, or sometimes you spend a little more money, or you know, you dance a little harder, just hoping it turns out to be one of those nights.
Yeah, but I've also seen it where maybe you didn't plan on it being one of those nights, and then suddenly
Yeah.
there's certain individuals in the equation where it's like we're never here, so we have to go out now because I guess depending on who you get along with or who you vibe with, sometimes like you can't always vibe with people because maybe they're far away or their schedule doesn't work with your schedule. But it's like sometimes it just takes that right combination.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like boom, it's on. But I know there've been times where the plan is not for nothing to go on. Like, hey, this is cool. We got to. But this is a short night, Cause
Gotta get up in the morning.
There's always stuff tomorrow, that we gotta do in the morning, or who we're helping out someone tomorrow and later on in the next day. But as if they bring that energy out of you, it's kind of like, I can say I'm going to end the night early, but I'm going to probably stick with it because these are my peeps and I'm feeling the vibe.
That's tough when people are dependent on you. Like, hey, you got to get up and do this. It's like, oh, yeah, okay.
Oh, man, but, but then, too, there's also that idea of going out and, kind of, we just, the story we just kind of, it's just sort of, meeting someone you never knew before. And suddenly, the plot changes, or the scenario has gotten a little bit more interesting, because the stranger, or however you want to call it, and the story, but it's a new character, and you don't know if they're going to be on the next episode, or if they're just on that one scene,
Yeah.
But that's kind of.
I think that's a story for another time.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's not always the situation. Where someone a stranger just pops out and suddenly you kind of gotta make that happen, or
you know
what I'm saying?
Those scenarios, man, I get nervous. Like, what way is this gonna go? And sometimes it works out. Other times you just go home.
Yeah, well, those are pretty much the only options. What do you expect, man?
Dinner.
But yeah. Oh, no, I'm just kidding, but well, is that really are those really only options we can get, a good night or a bad night?
I think I was about to say I think it's what to shoot for, but I guess you don't really shoot for a bad night. I think what it is there's expectation and anticipation. Like if you're going to a show, it's like, oh, this is going to be a good show, and you want it to be a good show, and that's why it comes out so harshly. Why it really needs to be good and not bad is the expectation. It's like, oh, I bought these tickets a month ago, and now it's finally here. Like, it better go well. I hope this goes well. And you put all this weight to it, And if it doesn't add up to that weight, then it just feels like a bad night. So it's kind of like, yeah, you shoot for the stars, shoot for the moon.
Yeah.
Right.
But you don't always land on the moon.
No, you do not.
Yeah, I think the word we're talking about is expectation. And a lot of times, the expectation is not helpful.
Yeah.
Because you're already creating an ideal, and yet, ideally, that's not smart.
Well, I think every night on my list has surpassed the expectation. And that's why I made them on my best nights list. Was I had an expectation, I shot for it, and they happened better.
Yeah.
They went beyond what I was expecting.
Well, I guess would it be? We don't really say like, I hope for an average day.
Well, I hope for at least an average day. I don't want the worst.
Maybe we should do the opposite of this list, like just bad day,
bad nights, bad days. Yeah, I could do that for sure.
But then, like for you, when you were talking about the high school stories, I'm like, man, I can't. I want to remember good stories from that time, but I guess I didn't go that deep into like what I consider a good night, or kind of having a good time, or ending it on a good note versus. I think that's the problem. Is like the night's only a night for temporarily, and then suddenly you gotta go back to your house, back to your cave, wherever. But it's like, what were you able to do in that time frame to justify you even going out? Because you can have a good night staying in, right? Or is that not even related to what we're talking about?
I think you could, but I think when it comes to going out of the ordinary, leaving the house tends to be the kicker. Like what makes it all different almost immediately, like change of environment. So yeah, I've had plenty of great nights at home, but we don't think of them that way. It's just like, it was another night at home.
Yeah. So maybe the bar, the level of expectation is not that high when you're.
Yeah.
Well,
there you go. Expectation.
Maybe we just gotta change our vocabulary and manifest. That was kind of the whole Mr. Friday night. Was sort of like every night was you could make a night a good night,
Yeah. That mindset.
But yeah, I guess it comes down to our expectations and what it is we're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
Unconsciously and consciously, because I haven't been out in a while to where I can't remember what I would, not to say what I would want out of it, but what the expectation would be. Or I like to play pool.
Yeah.
Going out, pool is, you can have a good night just playing pool.
Well, we haven't. Me and you used to play pool a lot, actually. And I'm thinking, like, damn, we haven't done that in a while.
Damn, for real. Where do we used to play?
Or basketball. I think we hit pockets at least once. I think we used to go to the U of A.
Yeah.
Like way back in the day, like even before it was all built up the way it is now.
No, you're right. It changed a lot.
Yeah, you would rent balls at the table and then play on there. Like I think they were like full size tables. And sands, I think we did sands a couple times.
Okay.
Yeah, like I think me and you would do basketball too.
Yeah, see, like I don't even associate that as a good night because it was. I mean, it was a good night, but it wasn't like we went out to the club or we went out to the bar. We didn't. We just went to the basketball courts and played.
Yeah. I'd say those were good nights too.
Yeah.
Just I couldn't. I was thinking about the list and I didn't even think to put it on. It didn't occur to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are good nights too.
I mean, there's been a few good times when I know when we first started tattooing.
Yeah.
My sleeve, and it was a lot of good energy, and I was kind of getting back into. Because there are times when I think in the past where now that we're at the podcast, we're consistently in communication, kind of, but like I think there have been times when our time frames in our life where we don't know where I don't know where you're at, you don't know where I'm at,
or I would hit you up too late, or something you'd already be passed out, or
I mean, so I think any time when we can link up is a good time.
Yeah, it has been.
But yeah, so I mean, I didn't put you on the list, but.
Damn.
But then again, it goes back to that whole. I guess maybe the expectation is not that high. I don't want to try that hard.
Yeah, I like that. That sounds better than what it sounded like.
No, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, brother, we just hit 2 hours.
Yeah, well,
I think we're at a good spot here.
It's like, again, there's so many things can happen that will qualify a good night.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, this list that I was working on, like a bunch of nights came up, and I was like, "Is that really like the best night?" And I started trying to qualify it in my mind, like what makes these a good night, and like I think it was usually something happened that just kind of made it pop off, like brought the energy out of the night, like other people. I think if I were alone doing all these things, it wouldn't be nearly as great. So yeah, it was a weird list. Like I'm not even sure I agreed with it half the time. Like, oh, these are the 5 best nights. It's just these are the ones that came to mind. There was a group of them that came to mind, and out of that group, these are some of the ones that came that I stuck with. But it's interesting. Yeah, I always like hearing our different lists. Like we think of different things, but at the same time the same. It's interesting.
Yeah. I was literally trying, like, I think I was being too literal with the night, like, because sometimes these things start in the daytime.
Yeah.
The night just comes. But, kind of going back to the title.
Yeah, well, it's part of that mood, isn't it? Like nighttime.
No, but I remember when my niece, she was just little, and she was tired to go to bed, and she would just cry and cry because she wanted to be up with the adults, and because the adults they're up, and it's late, and why do I have to go to sleep? You know, it's just sort of like the nighttime has more
allure,
more things going on. I don't know what it is, but it's just so. I mean, we want good nights, but I guess they're not always in supply.
Yeah.
Or our expectations maybe get in the way.
Yeah,
too bad.
That's some adult shit right there.
Yeah, for real.
It's more to think about for our next episode. I think a comparison of childhood memories is like really to adult ones is like a really good, I guess, exercise or like way of thinking about our past. Like I like telling stories, and I really like thinking about the differences between how I think now and how I thought as a child. And I think you're kind of starting to tap into some of that right now, is wanting to stay up when the adults are awake.
Yeah.
Not wanting to go to bed. I remember coming out of my room again and again and again, and I look back at them like, damn, what an asshole. Like, they're probably waiting for me to go to bed.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be part of everything, stick my nose out that door.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to remember that.
Yeah.
When my son does it.
He wants to hang out with you guys. He wants to enjoy the night.
Yeah.
But we're also trying to get. You think about it too, where I don't know. It's like kids. We want them to get in good sleeping habits, but then
yeah.
But we
don't show them very well, do we?
Yeah, exactly. Like, go to sleep. We're gonna stay up all night.
Go to sleep while we stay up all night. Yeah, I like that.
That's then when you're an adult, you can do that to the kids. It's just circle of life.
Circle of life every time. Go to bed. Alright, well, I think we got another good episode here, brother. What do you say we hit that red button?
Let's turn it off, man. Let's go.
Alright, thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Peace out.
Here it goes, boom.